Hi, I'm Dr. Tony Windebank, and this is Dr. Nathan Staff, and we work together on the stem cell trials at Mayo Clinic for the treatment of ALS. And Nathan, you had some comments.
Yeah, first of all, I wanted to thank everyone who's reached out to us and emailed us at the rstals@mayo.edu email. We've really received a lot of input and a lot of feedback about the study. And we're here to talk a little bit about two trials. One is the Mayo ALS mesenchymal stem cell phase 2 study, which is funded by the State of Minnesota Regenerative Medicine Project. And then also a phase 3 trial by company Brainstorm, which also uses mesenchymal stem cells. With the Mayo ALS MSC phase 2 trial, we've received enough patient inquiries and have enrolled enough patients now that we're actually going to pause enrollment for this trial. And the main reason for that is that we are beginning to gear up in order to start the Brainstorm phase 3 study. And I want to hand it over back to Dr. Windebank to talk a little bit about the Brainstorm trial.
Thanks very much, Nathan. So, the two trials, the second one is the one sponsored by Brainstorm. We were one of the 3 sites that carried out the phase 2 trial that was quite promising. The Brainstorm trial is a little bit different because it uses mesenchymal stem cells that are isolated from your bone marrow rather than adipose tissue. And then the cells are modified in the laboratory to make them more protective for nerve cells. So that's a very exciting trial that we're about to start enrolling patients. There were 3 centers in the phase 2 trial. There will be probably 5 centers in this next trial. The centers are enrolling sequentially, so patients have started to be enrolled at Massachusetts General Hospital and at the University of California, Irvine, and we anticipate that our enrollment will begin in January or early February of next year. And when patients submit information to the email address that Nathan mentioned, we consider them for both trials. But once we start enrolling in the second trial, the Brainstorm trial, that will become our major effort in the coming months. So, Nathan.
Yeah, so some questions that have come up from emails and phone calls that we receive from patients. I guess one is whether enrollment is limited to U.S. citizens, and unfortunately that is the case. We need to have people who are U.S. citizens and are able to travel to Mayo Clinic in order to receive treatments and then all the many follow-ups that occur in both of these trials. Another question that's come up a lot is whether edaravone or radicava, which is the new FDA-approved medication for ALS, whether that medication will be allowed to be used during the trial. Unfortunately, we're not allowing edaravone as part of either the ALS Mayo study or the Brainstorm trial. And really the reason for that is really due to the very complicated nature of the delivery of edaravone with its intravenous infusions that are daily for 2 weeks on and 2 weeks off for multiple cycles. We've all felt that it's really going to be particularly difficult to combine all of the follow-ups that are required for the clinical trial while still doing the edaravone treatments. And I think that the data is still quite early on which patients are going to benefit from edaravone as well. Another aspect of it is whether edaravone may interact with the stem cells, and that's really something that we don't understand at this time.
Thanks very much, Nathan. Another question that we hear quite frequently is why have we not heard back from the email? When you send information in, that goes into the system, and every email that comes in is reviewed and evaluated, and there's an automated response. We have been getting hundreds of inquiries, and they are all reviewed. And we want to emphasize that as slots become available, patients will be contacted directly to ask whether they can provide more information to determine eligibility. And we think this is the fairest way and the most logical way to handle all of these inquiries. We feel so strongly that we want to get these studies done as quickly as possible so that we can, if these treatments are successful, we can get them out to as many patients as possible, as quickly as possible. Finally, we get quite a lot of inquiries about whether if someone was willing to pay for the treatment, could they be treated outside of the trial? And that's something that's not permitted either by the FDA or by the trial design, because we really do want to get these trials finished as quickly as possible so that we know the right answer as to whether these treatments truly will help our patients and help you specifically. Nathan, any other questions?
No, I think that wraps it up for this version of our discussion. And we'll hopefully put together another video in the next few months as more questions come in and we have more things to report back.
Thanks very much, Nathan. Thank you all again for your willingness to participate.